All right guys, I'm gonna show you how to turn this board into this surf fishing rig tying board. Let's jump right into it. I'm Scott and you're watching Uncharted Florida. All right, what you're gonna need for this project are a 3/8 inch dowel rod, a 1/2 inch dowel rod, 31/64 drill bit, a U-size drill bit. You're gonna need a saw. This is a pretty cool saw that we're gonna be using. It's a Japanese style trim cutting saw. This is Select Pine, a 1/2 inch by 3 foot plank by about 6 inches wide. Has a very cool pattern here, and you're gonna see what we're gonna do with this with some wood burning to really set this off. We're gonna come off the sidewall by a 1/2 inch. Put a little mark up here. Same thing up here. Same thing down here. You may want to be ready to pause the video. You are going to see the dimensions that give you exactly 15-inch spacing between each of the 3 dropper loops, and that's the magic number you want. Right at 6 inches, you're gonna make a mark, 11 inches, 13.5, 18.5, 21, and 26. Then you're gonna move this up, and you're gonna mark the top one at 8.5, 16, and we actually missed the Pompano altogether, which I was a little worried about. I didn't really plan the placement of that. We are gonna miss them. There's our marks. I'm gonna see you over at the drill press, and we're gonna drill these holes. And you can do this with a hand drill. A drill press is gonna give you straight through holes, which is gonna make the dowel rods perfectly 90 degrees, which is really what you want. Make sure you stick around to the end. I'm gonna tie a rig. The beauty of this rig tying device, you can tie all 3 of your dropper loops without having to move the rig and use the same set of triangles. You're gonna tie an entire rig in under 1 minute flat. All right, so we need to cut 8 of these 3/8 inch dowel rods. You want it sticking off the rig tying board by 3 inches. Our board's 1/2 inch, so we're gonna cut these at 3.5 inch lengths. We're also gonna need 2 of these 1/2 inch dowel rods, same length, so we're gonna cut these also at 3.5. I just got this pretty cool Japanese style saw that we're gonna use to cut these dowel rods. All right guys, you got some options. You can hold these in with just a little dab of wood glue here, or this is an interference fit, so if you want the ability to take these in and out later, you can just pound these in and it'll end up staying. But I'm gonna do a little bit of glue. I like the idea of it staying permanent. All right guys, now that we got our dowel rods cut, our board holes drilled, we're gonna take some of this Type Bond 3. And this is an interference fit, so you just need a small amount just like this, and then you just wanna kind of smear that around. You don't want a whole lot. We're gonna hammer it through. You're gonna see it's gonna go almost flush on the other side. We don't want it to come all the way through. You can kind of hear when it hits. There we go, very nice. All right, we got all 9 of our main dowel rods in. You can see they came in nice and flush with the backside there. They're all glued in, so those will stay permanent. All right, we've got one more dowel rod to put in, and that's this bigger 1/2 inch one. This one's for the spool of leader material. There we go, all of the dowel rods in. Now what we're gonna move on to is the attach back here. We're gonna be tying our leaders across here, and we're gonna make a mechanism that holds the end of that as you move from dropper loop to dropper loop. All right, what you wanna do is find a scrap piece of wood, or you can go buy one. I had a scrap piece of teak sitting around in the shop, and this is gonna be perfect. We only need about 1.25 inches by 2.5 inches here. We're gonna cut that off here, and we also need a sheet of rubber, and I'll put a link for the rubber. That's a little bit harder to come by, but I had a sheet of this, and we'll end up cutting that to size. All right, we're gonna replicate this hole, but over here evenly. All right, now we're gonna trace our piece of wood, this piece of rubber here, mark it with a pencil. We're gonna get some really, really sharp shears. Cut just inside the line here, just like that. Now we're gonna mark our hole locations in the rubber. And we're gonna mark our location for this, and we'll pre-drill some holes. I'm gonna face it just like this, right at the end of the board. All right, let's take the board and the rubber over to the press, and we'll get those holes cut. All right, when you're drilling out the holes in the rubber, you wanna have a nice piece of wood backing. Now we're going to drill the holes in the board that'll receive the screws that go through this stack up. I went and found 2 nice stainless flathead screws, and we're going to send that through this stack up here, and we're going to face the opening towards the center of the board. That way we can wrap the line around. Let's tighten it down. And how tight or loose, you can adjust that later. All right, what you want to do first is take your leader spool, and you want to push a hole right through the center, just like that, and you want to load your spool right there, right onto your board. All right, you're going to want to pull out a good amount of line here. You're going to start at this bottom one, and you're going to do 8 turns. I'm only going to do 4 because this is not leader material. You're going to twist it, put it through, pick up your line, come over, you unpinch your end, reclamp it, work on the second one. Unclamp it, reclamp, and just like that, if you watch that real time, we've got a triple dropper loop. You can tie your double overhand knot at the end. I'll show you how that's done. You just loop the line over, go twice through, and that's going to go right through the eye of the pyramid sinker right there. Snip your line, tie it to a swivel on this side, and your rig is done. You're going to put your floats and your hooks on. Check out this video on how to select the floats and the rigs and the terminal tackle. That's going to make sure you have Pompano success.